For this Zentangle Quickie, we are going to take a look at the Tangle Amarin. Welcome, my name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I'm happy to share this one with you. This tangle comes to us from CZT Debbie New, and it's really, really neat. And it is pretty much just a series of S shapes. So what we're going to do is pick a place to start. I'm going to start sort of in the middle. And the way I like to do, well, actually, this is the way that she kind of prescribes it. So I'm gonna draw kind of a backwards S shape. Actually, it's kind of like a narrow question mark, honestly. So sort of an S shape. This one is backwards, and then I'm going to draw one more of the right way, but from this end. So this is going to be kind of our base, and we're going to have them meet up in the middle. So like that. And we'll do it again. So we're going to put a cluster of three kind of butting up next to each other here in one place. So I'm doing it, well, it's a little off center, but in somewhat the center of my page. So again, a backwards S, and then a regular S, both coming, from that same place. So that way we have a base. And then here, and you know what? And you can do, if it works better for you to do the S shape and then the backward shape. I don't know why I do it this way, but this is the way I do it. You can feel free to do it like this, so like right here. And so we have this cluster of three, and then we're going to essentially add some more. I like to do this where I'm subdividing the space. So I'm going to take from right here, and let me try it backwards from the way I just said it. So an S shape, and then a backwards S shape. If you're really good, and well, you know what, I like doing it this way, because this way I can have the end butt up against what's already here. Because it's like you could just I would draw it from here and go like that, but nah, I also like to speak in Zentangle essential strokes. So we have these 5, and I'm gonna and basically you just continue. Again, I like to subdivide. So I'm putting these in the middle of what's already there, as you can see, and then I just continue out as I see fit. And you can continue, as let's see, and how, yeah, and they can be, a little bit different sized if you want. They can kind of be angled a little bit better. I kind of like, I'm going to start this one right here. Yeah. So I'm thinking, well, I was saying something. Yes, I was. So there are 5 elemental strokes that when we're deconstructing a tangle that we like to have things fit in, and that is the straight line, the S shape, a curved line or a C shape, a dot, and an orb. I got them out of order because I'm talking and tangling at the same time, and sometimes that doesn't go well. And so I like to speak in terms of those elemental strokes, because I think it's important, especially for those like me who are, not artists. And see, and sometimes, the little shapes get a little bit wonky, but that's okay. Because as you can see, this creates a really nice pattern. And then just fill in as you want to, and stop whenever you feel like it's time for you to stop. So as I was saying, so for non-artist type like myself, and then also just for the consistency of Zentangle to speak and do in those terms, I just personally find that to be important. All right, so maybe just a couple more, and there we go. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, the finishing step on this is to kind of from the center, and this is where, so like on most of mine where there's a couple that are good, but kind of, so you have the 2 halves, but you always have this little place here, as you can kind of see where you started and stopped. So I'm going to take from there, because this is also a course correction. So there are no such thing as mistakes in Zentangle. I call them course corrections, and that's where you say, oh, I really don't like what this looks like. So then we find a way to course correct. And so I'm going to take and just draw a line. from there up. So we're going to divide these like this, but some of them, if you want to, like even, well, let's see, I'm going to just draw a line here, you know, and they kind of just, they can kind of take on a little bit of a shape if you want. So a little bit of a curved line. And I'm turning my towel because my hand naturally curves this way. And so sometimes I like to take advantage of that. So this one I curved up a little bit high on purpose. And then I'm going to draw kind of a double one. So some of them you can, here's one too, that, you know, it's kind of thick. And so I'm just going to, you know, draw in that little curved line. So you don't have to do that to all of them. This is just, you know, how you see fit to do them. But, you know, and so I like to think of it, you know, doing one line. And then if something goes awry, then of course you can add the other one in. And then you can add some of the other ones in as you see fit. And I also find sometimes doing, you know, having this line in, you can add some character. So like this, I you know, made it a little bit of an S instead of it just being a curved line. And it adds character just in general to all of what looks like leaves or petals. And then another finishing touch is adding just some little orbs. I love adding little orbs, and I believe that Debbie did have this in her step out. But adding just these little, they look like little seeds, or they could be, you know, you could think of them as, you know, dewdrops or, you know, something, but just adding these little orbs, especially in the gaps. So where we have these gaps, and especially like here, it was a little bit bigger than I had wished for, but that's okay because we're just gonna, like I said, we're adding some little orbs, and I knew that ahead of time, so it was, you know, you just don't fret about those things. And that's where kind of getting to know your course corrections and things is definitely a help. Now, I don't know if she had shading necessarily in her step out. I mean, because it looks neat, just like this. But some things that you can do that I like to do here is just maybe in the base. You can either do like I'm going to do that right here in the base on these, like say these center ones, and I just added a little bit of graphite just to that base again, and I'm just going to smudge it out just a little bit. Oops. Grab some of the, I pushed a little bit too hard and grabbed some of the tile. And here I have it, some here too. And it's always hard to avoid the temptation to deco like this. And you can see how that adds some, well actually I should go this way, adds some neat depth to just, you know, I'm just adding a little bit more. Better to add a little bit and then add more if you feel like you need it, because you can do that. We generally don't work with erasers. Like if you buy a Zentangle kit, there's no eraser, there's no ruler. This is all about kind of freehand stuff. And then two, well, you know, and if depending on how large you draw these, you could put a little graphite on the ends here. Let me do that here on this one, and then you can kind of see. Then it adds to that curve a little bit. You could also, you know, add some, just like say to a side. I'm going to do that to some of these here. And it just, like I said, it just kind of brings it to life. It adds some shape to your tangle when you add some graphite. It's one of those you don't have to if you don't want to, but you certainly can. Another thought, and generally in Zentangle, especially for if you're looking for that meditative aspect of this, and I know especially in my Zentangle Essentials class, when I talk about the methodology of Zentangle, this is we use black, white, and graphite for shades of gray, just so that way that we don't have to think too much about it. Zentangle alone is not, I mean, it's supposed to be non-representational. This does happen to represent and was inspired by a flower pattern. I think it was in Thailand. I will try to put the link in the description. But you see, it's a really nice tangle. It ends up looking like something because it was inspired by something that was organic. But our objective isn't to replicate, you know, a plant. the objective is, hey, that's really neat. That looks like a neat pattern. Oh, here, let's do that pattern, and it's really cool. So there we have Amarin. It's such a nice and fun tangle. Let me show you a couple other tiles I did. Actually, they're gonna look they're the same, but they're on a different angle. So as I did this for a class a little while back, and you know, and we started out with this tangle, which is called Tortuga, and I will have to add that to our Zentangle Quickies. It's a fun tangle. I was calling this my planter series because for whatever reason I was, you know, just enamored with you know, oh, let's do this on the angle and make it look like a planter, because that's what it ends up looking like essentially. And then playing with the shading makes it look like it's hanging over even more. But it's just like I said, it's just a really, really neat tangle to have fun with and to add to your arsenal of organic tangles to have fun with. So with that, I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you happy tangling.